When she spoon and like a BB moment, which is like a beautiful black moment. Did we get any of those in this episode?
Black.
We have a chaotic bi moment of the
chaotic bi moment. And you're watching Black Bi Reality.
Black Bi Baddies.
And those who love us.
Hello, you are watching and are listening to the Black Bi Reality podcast, a podcast for Black Bi Baddies, those who love us. We're doing a very special episode. We usually talk about reality TV here, but the internet and the world seems to be ablaze because of heated rivalry. And I wanted to react with a bisexual lens. And I thought the perfect guest for this is Ashmal of Couple to Throuple.
One of the first bisexual shows.
For sure. I mean, and
Tequila.
Tila Tequila, that one season of Are You the One? Couple to Throuple.
The sacred texts.
The sacred text. And if you haven't watched Couple to Throuple on Peacock, please do. I don't know what Peacock's doing over there. I think they should have another season. I think you guys should be up in the tort on Traders as well. I will keep pushing this agenda.
No, I love that. And I'm just saying, if I go back on Couple to Throuple, I'm going back as a single, and I will not leave the resort.
I think that would be so fun to be on the other side of it.
Right. I mean, honestly, I did like the power of being in a couple, but like I will be in my Becca bag and stay in that house.
Yeah. She set the bar very high. But okay, first question. How did you hear of heated rivalry? When did you finally get into like the phenomenon that it is?
So I think heated rivalry, I heard about it through, obviously everyone's talking about it, but like there's so many shows everyone's talking about. This show like permeated the group messages, and not just the group messages, like the personal 2-3 people. Have you watched Heated Rivalry? What episode are you on? So, I had to start it, and it's on HBO, so it's going to be good. But, from Canada, but they buy good ones.
Yeah, they do. I feel like I got to it pretty late, but I'm kind of happy, and honestly, it's not stopping, so it doesn't really feel late.
Mm-hmm. No, so I started it, and then I watched the first 2 episodes, and then I went to Pakistan for like 2 weeks. So like there's no I couldn't get it there, and then I'm just reading about everyone crying over episode 5, and I was like, I want to watch it.
Dang, having to wait. I'm glad I was able to binge. But let's talk about the very beginning of these two meeting. First of all, it took me the second time around. Plus, I started the audiobook. The reader of the audiobook.
Does he sound hot?
Yeah. They got the right person for that. But they're like 17, 18 years old when they first meet.
Yeah, I had to, for this, to do my homework, I literally said, a heated rivalry show timeline?
Yeah.
Like, and you don't comprehend that, like, they just didn't talk for a year.
Yep. Which honestly is so real to life, but because we kind of get the quick timeline in one episode, it doesn't feel as long in between.
I think it's real to like previous life, like in 2008, 2007, like you're not going to Facebook message the person, like that kind of stuff. But now I'm like, what do you mean they waited a year and then they just said, hey?
Yeah.
And we're just expecting this person to be there, like.
Yeah. I mean, so there is a little bit of a power imbalance. Ilya, he's not waiting to get what he wants. Shane approaches him. Now, in the book, this whole conversation meeting has a new perspective, because before this, the boys already were like in the same circles because before the draft. Basically, and I was wondering, I was like, how does Ilya know Shane is interested in him. And the book explains that Ilya knows because Shane don't talk to nobody. Like, he's just a very to himself person. And so when he sees Ilya alone, he's going up talking about, oh, do you smoke? You're really good. And he's like, oh, you want this? Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just like Shane, Ilya knows what he wants.
Yeah.
And Shane doesn't find the words, until way later. So
Yes.
I think Ilya is like, okay, come on, let me show you the ropes. And Ilya communicates throughout everything with a lot of looks, and it started with that look. So
yes, he needs, this is what Shane needs, which I think like some people who are still early in their coming out process, they kind of need a little push. They're kind of like, thank you, because I kind of would never have gotten this started. So the beginning though, I love watching people's random reactions to the shower moment.
Yeah, well, that's when you see the butt for the first time. Like the butt heard around the world.
Yeah.
The butt.
The butt, him saying not here. It's just like, oh my gosh.
I mean, the butt thing is also like, it really touches on like, when most people see the butt, they're like, oh, like he's gonna use it, and that's not true. Tops have great butts sometimes.
Great butts. Love it for him. Like, I love the first meeting is awkward. Like, it should be a little bit playful. We get Ilya has a sense of humor and that accent. Connor did amazing.
The accent, I didn't know he wasn't Russian. My friend who's an actor and also Russian was telling us, he's like, everyone in the Russian community, the actor community also are like, great job. Like, I had no idea. And then when I act surprised, people are like, yeah, his name is Connor Story. Okay. People could be Russian with non-Russian names.
Yeah, that's a Texas boy. I am so happy for him. Like, he talked a lot about his dialect coach, and he would just be like, all right, I did that phone scene. How was that? How much of it can we actually use? They said all of it. And I know that took so much work. So kudos to him for that and that performance. Also, something that is a big part of these two dynamic is like, Hollander's very in the closet. Ilya, he's in the closet because he has to be, but it's like in his private life, he don't give a shit.
No. I mean, he has it down. He has it down to a science. He's got his little homeboy in Russia. He's got Svetlana. Like, he knows.
And so Svetlana. Goodness.
See, I've been going to the same coach as Connor Story. Svetlana.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. What do we think about his relationship with her? From the book, they are just like, they're not childhood friends, so they really deepened that friendship for the show. And I think it does make it, the tricky thing was, it's like, okay, we got women part of it, but we don't want the audience to necessarily feel bad for them. So Ilya's lucky that this girl does not care. She also is like, hey, we'll hook up, but we're mostly friends. And I think that's like the perfect thing for this type of story. So you can just focus on Ilya and Shane.
Yeah, no, I completely, I agree. And I think they could have gone, like, I do like that they showed, I describe it now like that there's girl gaze and guy gaze, right? I think most people started off as girl gaze. Like, a lot of the freedom, everything you feel, being yourself, the first people you tell the secret to are usually your girlfriends, right? And like, they are who I am today. They are the reason, right? Like I felt comfortable way back then. Now I have a lot of gay guy friends because I live in Chicago. It's just like gay ground zero. And but I think that they did a good job of the Rose Landry was his first friend that he could actually say that to. And for a lot of guys, especially guys in theater, this is exactly what happens. And and Rose, as a theater girl, she's like, you're like an eighth guy I've dated who's gay. So, we also know those girls, like, and like at Pride, we march for those girls also, But I did like that they showed that's his first girlfriend, like friend that like he can confide in. She means it, let's be friends. And with Svetlana, I feel like they showed a fun, interesting dynamic with like they do hook up, but there is a lot of love and care there. And I feel like that happens. I hear about it more in just gay friendships with two guys. Like they can hook up every now and then, occasionally, but there's no emotional connection. And they were able to show that with a girl and still love it. I like that.
I like it too. I think it was very clever. First of all, the actress who plays Rose, I've had a crush on her. Yellow Jackets, Shauna, that crazy psycho.
This was her debut to me. So I was like, oh, and in my head, I was like, I didn't know Yellow Jackets, that she was in Yellow Jackets. I was thinking she gives very much like that Fantastic Beasts, like that type of vibe, and I was like, oh, maybe that's why I haven't seen her, or maybe like Bridgerton or something. But great first show for me.
Yes. I'm glad you said that there's things that felt real between those two, because a lot of people were like, this is super convenient that she just already knows and approaching and is already trying to like hook him up with that friend. We gotta talk about that friend, because that
we gotta talk about that friend. I don't want to jump ahead, but we gotta talk about that.
Yes, but I think the big thing that like a lot of queer people have been appreciating about this show is like, they're talking about closeted athletes. That's already like hard enough, but we don't have that traumatic episode. Like the worst thing that happens to them is Shane's dad booked it.
Yep. Las Culturistas, one of my favorite podcasts, Bowen Yang was talking about, and like now there's like it's a conflict-free show. Like any conflict that occurs, like he was like saying, oh, my dad's not going to accept I'm gay. Dad's dead. Parents won't like that I'm gay. They found out. They love it. Like this is going to happen. Nope, gone. Like every obstacle is there for like half an episode and then it's gone. And my favorite genre of film, TV, my favorite genre of movies in general is wedding movies where something goes awry, but friendship prevails at the end. And those are movies where you can turn it on, enjoy yourself. You're not stressed out. You're not anything. And it's just like, things are going to be good. And we finally get something like that. There's been a few, but we finally get like nothing crazy is going to happen to them. I can just sit there and I can just enjoy watching without like having a heavy traumatic internal thing. I can be like, oh, it's going to be fine. Like we need that.
I mean, I think a lot of the conflict is like about the environment and it's internal. At the beginning, first of all, they do have a rivalry. Like we see that there's some very subtleties. Like Ilya is jealous that Shane can speak fluent French, and he has a supportive parents that are just tagging along. His mom is getting him all of these deals. So in some ways he has it easier. He's in Canada, not Russia. And so he kind of like acts out a little and likes teasing Shane because of that, where Shane sees Rozanov as like, he's already got it figured out. He's a ladies' man. Like the fact that Shane's dad says, I always thought you were a ladies' man. He's like, I am. It's true. Like, okay.
Yeah. And I love when Shane talks about, I mean, when Ilya talks about being bisexual,
Yes.
just the way, like that look Shane gives when he says, maybe I'll marry Svetlana.
Daggers.
That was real.
Daggers.
I've been in those conversations. That was real. I used to have a joke. I was like, what if I go to Pakistan and come back with a wife? And did not go over well.
No. Okay, let's talk about this, because there is a stereotype for bisexuals that I just wanted to put it out there. Is Ilya a greedy bisexual?
No. He is literally just bisexual.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you mean greedy bisexual? I think the word greedy comes from that stereotype.
Yes.
They're conflating two words, you know?
Mm-hmm. I agree. My thoughts around it is like his bisexuality, sure, there's always that talk in the queer community between like lesbians, gays, and bisexuals is like, do they have a privilege? And I love how different Shane and Ilya's situations are. So in some ways, like Ilya was able to be a chameleon in Russia because he is attracted to women, but then he knows at the end of the day, like he would be prosecuted too, just like any other queer person if he was caught. And then when it comes to being in America, even Shane tries to act like sometimes like he doesn't get what Ilya's going through. That one conversation where Shane's just like, oh, you can't be caught because of this. And he's like, because Russia, Shane, because I have to go back to Russia. And it's like, also that disconnect of the privilege of being Canadian. It's not like a one sum between them, which I love.
Yeah, because I think it's also in Shane's mind, he's like, I can't be gay because of hockey and these things, right? He's like, that is the reason. But he's like, oh, so because of this, or because of this. And he's like, what you're forgetting is that you play hockey in Canada. I play hockey, then go back to Russia. Like, that's my bigger thing. But I think Shane is a quick learner.
Yeah.
I think, you know, when we have that conversation about, oh, his mom's doing everything for him, all this, and like, but he doesn't lack a sense of understanding, right? He has that, and he has empathy like crazy, you know? And like, yeah, he is kind of boring. And I think Ilya does bring that out. And you know, like, gotta say, maybe we're biased, but like Ilya has that bisexual swagger, you know?
Yes.
And I think Shane is like, I don't believe it, but I do. And like, how? You know?
Yeah. Another thing about Shane's character, which I think is very subtle, but even the actor Hudson Williams said it was very important to him that his character's ethnicity was a part of the story. It's just dropped in the book that he's Japanese and it never comes back. And they show it in the beginning. They're like, oh, we're so excited to have Shane. You know, we love diversity and that he's Asian. And I think later when Rolex, the whole deals are coming, thanks to Mama Manager, the unsaid thing is, and you can't come out because you have a deal with Reebok, Rolex, and you're the first Asian blowing up in this very white sport.
But Mom quickly changes it because she's true ally, true Kris Jenner mindset. Like, yeah, I'll tell Rolex, they'll come around. You know, I don't know what the last person they were like, but they'll come around. And this was what, 2014 too? This was before gay marriage was legalized. So Mom was like, I'll make it happen. You want to come out, and we'll spin this.
Yes.
So I think she was able to not code switch, but like gear switch real fast, you know.
Switch real fast. I think I loved that we had a scene of her apologizing that he didn't feel like he could tell her. I think it's also interesting because we only get these boys' point of view. When they come out, they're like, oh, we suspected. We just didn't expect it was going to be Ilya on Team Boston.
And I want to go back to he wanted the character's like race to be a part. of the story. So you said it gets dropped in the book, and I was making a face because I was like, it kind of just dropped.
Yeah.
Then. But I think it does a great job of. I felt this when I was younger, and I discovered not on myself, but in media, I described it like the Disney Vanessa Hudgens minority.
Oh my God. Get into it.
It's Shane Hollander is the perfect example of a Vanessa Hudgens media minority, right? Vanessa Hudgens comes on the stage. You're like, is she Latina? Is she Italian? Is she something? And she's like, yes, my last name is Hudgens, which also could be so much. And I was like, that is how these big brands can try to check a few boxes and then have a leading lady, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think Shane was a great example of Vanessa Hudgens.
I agree. So very, very interesting. It's a very white sport, and then there's very white characters. We'll see if any of that changes when they return. I think something that also people, because there's a lot of conversations, and there's some times I want to address the conversations. A lot of people are like, or a lot of women explain being into men loving men stories as like, well, it takes gender out of it. These two men are such men that it takes them 10 years to get together. When they finally start opening up, it's literally because of these two women getting them to open up more so Rose, because like we said, Shane did not have any friends, so he did not know how to open up in general, and Rose literally was like, I want to be friends. That's not what I'm just saying. Text me. That I feel like you don't talk to anyone. And after that, when I rewatched, I was like, oh my God, he switches after that. He starts asking Shane, do you want to talk about how you're feeling about your dad? Do you actually want to go back to Russia? And Shane, Ilya's a little behind because he can't change anything. There are some people who are like, what's the point of talking if I can't change? I have to go back to Russia, and I have to take care of my dad who has dementia.
I think Shane's story is genderless because how many times, like, you know, the whole like current dating culture. Sometimes if like you're with somebody who's not going to commit, but things are fine, things are okay, and you just sit there. Like, I consider myself sometimes a pick-me girl, so like I'm gonna sit there and enjoy it, like ask me to stay, fine, I'll stay. But like it's like that it's a genderless feeling when you know how you feel, but you don't want to bring it up because you don't want to ruin this fleeting moment. Everyone experiences fleeting moments with a crush. You're like, I could, like, one thing when Shane was like, when they were back at the house, this was a tuna fish sandwich, which we can get into, but he was like, after he eats the tuna sandwich, he's like hanging out again. He's starting to make the first move, and then Shane himself just goes, I gotta go. And like, how many times, I just think girls and guys, all your friends are like, you need to stand up for yourself. You can't give them what they want. You can't, if they just give, like Ramona Singer on Housewives said, why would they buy the cow if they get the milk for free? All of that thing is coming to Shane's head, and he's like, I gotta go. I stand up for myself. And sometimes you don't want to establish boundaries. Things are good. That's a general.
Yeah. I had a different take on that, the tuna fish sandwich. So my different take is things got real intimate when Ilya had him over this time. He had his ginger ale, which I did not pay attention to the first time. That ginger ale was very important to Shane. And he had tuna melts, and then he kept insisting for him to stay. But
were tuna melts like Shane, like tuna melts, or was it Ilya's?
I think, I don't know, but Shane is like very much on a strict diet. Like that's a big part of his character. But what was interesting is that when they hooked up, which was like Shane on top of Ilya on the couch, and they're facing each other, which many people noted that was so much more intimate than what they were doing before hooking up. And I noticed it was the fact that Ilya said Shane instead of Hollander during sex that he was like, oh, this is something new. I don't know what the hell is happening, but I got to get out of here. And that's the one he was trying to be like the hit it and quit it person at that, because that's what he's used to with this boy.
We'll see, because when Shane walked in, Shane had that look that like we've all given or received, where it's like, and he goes, "So, do you want to talk?" And then Ilya goes, "After."
Yeah.
And Shane said, "Okay, for this little moment, I'm gonna do a good job," you know. But with the tuna fish, I was like, okay, I was putting myself in these shoes. Like, you do that, and someone's like, "Hey, you want a tuna fish sandwich?" I'd be like, "Okay, so like we're not gonna make out again because that's a smelly food that you were just making me." But I thought it was really important in the scene because it showed that Ilya, because Shane was like, "You want to make me a tuna fish sandwich?" Like my top cooking for me, right? And Shane's like, "Oh," and to Ilya, it was just like such a big deal and not a big deal at the same time, because he was just like, I make one for myself, I can make two, but it's also like, listen, tuna fish sandwiches are a part of my life. I like tuna fish sandwiches. You are a part of my life. I like you.
I think Ilya like fell for him though. I feel like he was trying to wife up Shane here. It wasn't just like
As much as he could with that. He's like, I'm
Mhm.
your tuna fish sandwich. You're just a
Yeah.
part of my life. When I'm hungry, I eat tuna fish sandwich. When I need someone who I love, I go to you.
Yep.
You
Love
know?
it.
But crazy to give someone tuna fish sandwich. I mean, it's like,
It is kind of crazy. And then they were eating again later, and I was like, what are you guys eating? Like, I need to kind of know everything. This is such an intimate show. You just feel like you are watching a real couple, and sometimes you're like, should I leave? But
so I can't watch the show with any of my guy friends.
how are people doing watch parties?
Right? Like, there's one other media thing that I've not watched with anyone, and it's that movie, Call Me by Your Name,
Yeah.
the Army Hammer.
Mhm.
I'm not watching that with my friends. I'm not watching this with my friends. Like, you know,
No, we can talk about it after. That's what this is for.
watch this podcast to get my thoughts on it. I am not talking to you about it.
No. Oh my god. Oh my god. And like Jacob Tierney, the man you are, because this is written by a woman, this gay man pulled all the tips and tricks. First of all, this is not an expensive show to make. They had a budget and they made do. The use of mirrors and all these, and how they made these apartments and hotel rooms look huge, and just how they did the scenes. You feel like you saw everything, but you didn't. Like,
one thing I really loved about, at least I think this later on, was that it even showed like the parts of, if you're in a position and you like think, oh, I don't feel sexy here, or like I see this part of my body, you see all that. So you're like, oh, like for body issues, I'm like, wow, if Shane Hollander has the same crease in this angle, it's okay that I do, because no matter what, like it's a part of life. It's real. And I really liked that. It wasn't like all like just the best angle. It was every like curve, you know, like that curve of your body. It's real. It's real.
Yes. I really freaking loved it. Something I did want to talk about is how Shane comes out and how it's so different between these two characters, because one is gay and one bisexual. First of all, I feel like Ilya had his guard up a lot, because he sees Shane as a man in the closet in the beginning, and is kind of like almost always on edge for like the internalized homophobia. Like, the first time Ilya brings up bottoming, and he can tell Shane is like kind of squirmish. He's like, what? You think that's gay? Tell you what's gay. It's like, that's what you say to those with internalized homophobia. And Shane's like, oh, no. It's not that.
I think that's when Ilya was like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is something I can work with. And then later, takes years and years and years, Shane tells Ilya, I'm gay. And he's like, no shit. But I'm like, okay, Ilya, this is when, as a bisexual, you gotta calm it down, because Shane is literally saying, I tried with Rose Landry. If I can't make it work with Mystique, she was playing Mystique, the freaking blue body makeup.
Oh, the O Squad is like X-Men or X-Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting how they got around that. But he's like, if I can't make it work with her, I am totally gay. And for him, he just thought maybe there's always that one girl, because he's just hoping, as a gay man, actually my life would be so much easier if I just found that one woman. And so Shane is like, you don't get it when I'm saying I'm gay. You're just like, obviously.
I mean, not to take Team Ilya in this, but like also try, like, the second person you come out to is the person you've been like consistently taking it from for like 8 years now. Like, they get to be like, yeah, because the first time he talked about like Ilya being bi, and he said, you like girls? And Shane goes, yeah, I do. It's private. Like, come on. You get to have that reaction if that was your reaction. You're keeping it private, like it's a press conference.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll give him that.
But I think they do such a good job of like showing the process of, you have to come out to yourself, then you have to like go through the rigmarole, and then finally settle of like, all right, I'm comfortable with putting a name to it. Okay, let's talk. Were you as mad as some people were over Scott Hunter? Because we got a whole episode of our Captain Scott, who is just struggle bus. I love that Scott is struggling until the very last moment on the show.
What do you guys mean? What is the hoopla about Scott? It was a nice break.
Yeah.
And there's another gay guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that man can give a speech. Scott Hunter.
Yes.
Give a speech. Okay.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
okay, this is maybe my little opinion, but like, listen, Scott Hunter dating that guy Kip, amazing. So Kip, what's it called? An inspiration for us everywhere. Okay.
Yes.
Great guy. But my thing is, if I was like seeing a famous sports player, okay, let's say I'm dating a closeted Chicago Cubs baseball player.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I'd need like 6 months before telling everybody in my life, just because I tell my friends, but like everybody, I'm like, that's serious. So you need a year, you need an additional 6 months because the baseball is paying our checks, paying for this house that you like keep me kept in. You get a year and a half out of me. Okay. And he's asking for like, how long does hockey last in its peak? Like, so like 2 years, I'd give it. I would give it. I think the only thing about Scott Hunter was I think he knew he only had one episode. That's why the night after hooking up, he goes, I love you. Stay here forever.
Yeah. He has his own book, The Game Changer. So I very much wonder, like, I'm going to have to go back. I do hear the audio reader for that one not as good, but maybe I'll read it.
Scott had to leave it all. He said, listen, 5 minutes in, I want you to stay. Please stay. When I'm back, be there.
Yes. And like he also says, and I didn't clock it until someone else said this, but he admits he's obsessive. So he kind of gets obsessive with Kip too. Smoothies. Kip got a man through a smoothie. I love also the way Scott he has been taking hits over and over about his gameplay and falling off in the season. And then when this little bitch Shane wants to go up to him on the ice and say, "Where are you?" Scott said, you starting to sound like him.
What's that supposed to mean?
First of all, Ilya said he told Shane his room number with Scott sitting right next to him. We all know. Like, you didn't even try to hide it. He almost Shane knowing Scott Hunter was in the next room.
And that's the thing about Scott. Everyone's apparently hating on Scott. Scott has been known, and he only made a comment when Shane made a comment.
Exactly.
So as a closeted gay elder, Scott was being a good gay elder until Shane, Little Miss Rookie, came in with a lot to say.
A lot to say. I was like, oh no, Shane. I loved it. They pan out the way that they go from like the hockey on the television to whatever character is watching it is magic. I love that this lip reader though was reading the lips on Shane and Scott when they started fighting after that exchange.
The announcer?
Yes.
Yes.
The lip reader was like, Shane calls him and then kept talking about how old he is. There's a long running joke between Shane and Ilya about how old he is. In reality, Scott is just 3 years older.
Yeah, no, that timeline I researched today, literally, I think he's 90. It literally said like 95, 1995. Scott Hunter was born. I'm sitting here in 1996, being like, damn.
They are so disrespectful and catty.
But it's also with Scott, like with Ilya, we get that he can't come out because his Russian culture. Also, he has a lot on his shoulder, and the politics there, right? All of that. With Shane, he's like hockey, and he can't come out because of that, you know. But with Scott, he's just like Shane is like, I can't come out hockey. Scott is like, I can't come out hockey abstract. Like, we don't see what his literal struggle with hockey actually is, because he's struggling at hockey. Weren't they all like, oh, he chokes, like, or something? So like, he was just like, I can't come out. Like, in a couple of years, so hockey's over. And then, like, you don't see any, like, parental thing. You don't see any, like...
Because they died. That was his whole thing. Okay,
so... They died, and that's why he had the scholarship. And
yeah, and he says that basically hockey has given him a second family.
Right.
So he doesn't want to be ostracized by all those other players. And... we get all of that through Kip, and I think we do hear some of the speech, so we get it. Like but it's so interesting because we get at least one friend on the team for Shane. We get that big guy also for Ilya on his team. I did not see Shane have any. Yeah, he's like.
Is he the one that they go out at the end? He's like, we're in Montreal. We'll find a club.
Maybe. But like Scott doesn't have any close friends to make that truth of he needs this also because this is the only family he has. But I think that's supposed to be the stakes for him.
Right. He does have that one friend that, like, apparently is on every team. Like, that one guy. I don't know what his role is. Does he just keep getting drafted? Is it always the All-Stars? You know that one guy, the Malcolm guy, who's always there to say something crazy? And, like, for the plot, like, when he said, oh, being gay like that in Russia, that's scary. And then we'll hear from him again for, like, another episode and a half. And he does his game.
Well, he's the reason why Shane gets Rose Landry. He's like, you have to come out right now. Ed's team is at this bar. So he would have never gotten his first beard if it wasn't for him.
And I gotta say, when Lana reveal, like, you know, and he just drops that, and he says the phrase, Ilya says the phrase, it's nice to have a regular woman like that.
Yes.
And like when I've heard and felt, and in my experience and a lot of other people's experience that I've heard of, when you're dating someone who's not bisexual, the idea, like a gay guy, the idea is like, I can't compete with a woman, or like a woman's dating a man who's bisexual. She's like, I can't compete with a guy. So like, to throw the words regular woman, like, that is grating to an ear, it's like, I never do that, and thank God you have that. But like, so I only bring that up because a gay guy will do anything out of spite, including dating a woman.
Yeah.
And Shane said, fine, you got Svetlana, I am dating a girl.
And it's not any girl. They made her seem like I think she's supposed to be like a Jennifer Lawrence type,
Yeah, at all.
But people were also like, it's giving Taylor Swift with her having like the jersey on.
Here she shows up. Okay,
Yeah.
no, it's not giving Taylor. Taylor Swift would never date a gay man. Taylor Swift would never date a gay man. Are you kidding me? And Taylor Swift would not just show up and just wear a jersey. Like,
yeah.
We played a game called like Vocalist or Diva, and it's like, Whitney Houston's a vocalist, and like,
you're saying she's not a diva?
well, no, vocalist is just like, you can go to pull up to their concert, pull up and bring out a chair,
okay,
and they just sing. Adele, vocalist. Aretha Franklin, vocalist. Like all the girls now, like I would say, like Tate McRae, all of them, like performers. Performers or divas, But we play that game, and then it gets to Taylor Swift, and we all say capitalist.
Yes.
So, different category. But no, Rose Landry, I feel like, is like the new like it girl on the scene, kind of shy. She's kind of shy. Like her vibe is very like, I'm a fan of you too, So like, she's an up and comer. Like he's a rookie.
Yeah.
And also, like, in this world, hockey is like really big.
Yes.
Like, this is like a big hockey forward world.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm like, if like a big Hollywood starlet is at a hockey game, or like so it's like a big deal, And like, I want to ask the question that no one has asked. What if they were bad? What if one of them was just really bad at hockey? Like, I think it would have been more entertaining if there's a lot of like interaction between Ilya and Shane. If one of them is just like a bench person, or like falls all the time, But I do kind of also get that goes back to Scott Hunter coming out when he did the damn thing. He's like, can't come out to hockey. He's like, I've reached the pinnacle. I checked all the boxes.
All the boxes. I'm about to retire. Like, I'm about to get out of here. I got what I needed to see.
I can't be any more perfect. You guys want me as this hockey star. I've done the most. Like, and now no one can take that away from me.
Yes.
And he finally had that comfort. He wanted to be like a hockey player, not a gay hockey player. And he was able to be a hockey champion. And then, and I think like gay people, like anybody queer and, anyone different, kind of growing up feels like, okay, if I do everything right, like if I like check all the boxes, if I'm good as fuck on paper, like then that could justify this other thing, right? And then when you reach the pinnacle of like, what, I'm a hockey player, I did it, or I'm this and I did it, you're like, okay, but like, I did it. I still want to do what I want to do. Like, now let me do that. So I think that's also why Scott Hunter had to be really good at hockey. But one of them, I also think Ilya, earlier you were saying like Shane can speak French, and Ilya's kind of jealous about that. But I think the huge attraction and respect that Ilya has for Shane does come from Shane is good at his craft.
Absolutely. That's a big part of their chemistry.
Loves that. Like, when I was in law school, like one of my best friends, she really loved like a smart guy. Like, like you can really like have a talk about constitutional law with them. And it's just like, it stimulates your brain. And I think that's the same thing with Ilya. It's like Ilya sure has the quote unquote power, but it's like Shane still beats him.
Yes. Exactly. I love the power play between these two. Another part of like, I think for us who don't care as much about hockey, the big thing that makes what would make them scandalous specifically, and I think they tried to get it through with that scene with his parents in the finale, is that they were supposed to be rivals, and they were rivals. They weren't pulling any punches, but if it came out, it's like, okay, did they, and all that, which I don't know how you would do that as the number one and number two in this league, but it's, I think the rivalry part is a big part of that.
Yeah, because the mom, like 8 minutes into your kid being gay, she's like, "You didn't like let him win ever, did you?"
Yep.
It's like, no, actually, mom, I kept beating him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, it was different chances. Oh my God, when Shane watched Ilya with the cup, I was so confused when he was like with his teammates on the couch and he first looks happy and then he gets tears in his eyes. I was like, what is this? When I got to that part in the book, Shane is like so proud of Ilya, so happy for Ilya. Obviously, he also wants the cup for himself, but also at that point, Ilya does not speak to him. That was the break after he got scolded for basically losing in his home turf in Russia for the Olympics. I think Shane or Ilya was like, I need to focus on my freaking craft. So he leaves Shane behind. 6 months later, he has the cup. So that was the mix of emotions in that scene. And I loved it.
I mean, I think it's just like what we do get to see is like true cute romance and love, and I think that's like the perfect example. Like, even if you're mad at the person, or like even if like they're not talking to you, like when something good happens to someone you love, no matter how, if you're broken up, if you're still going to be happy for them, and if you know that that's someone's dream and you see them doing it, if you really love them, like no matter what your current situation is, you can share the happiness in that. And people with high empathy can always share in the happiness of someone else, and Shane got that.
Yes, he's a sweet little baby who gets his feelings hurt multiple times. Ugh, when they had to present at that awards show and he's so snippy with Ilya of like, oh, who were you with that you're like coming to the stage last minute? And then afterwards they just decide to have this all out in the bathroom. I like the power play and how they exhibited that between them in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And then that whole thing, that was just really, really good, really fun. I do want to talk.
Episode 5. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There's so many moments I want to talk about with you. But back to the whole bisexuality of it all. François Arnaud is out and bisexual. He's been out since 2020.
Oh, that's Hunter?
Yes.
François
is the one who plays Scott Hunter.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I did not know. But he's bisexual since 2020.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first thing I've seen him in, so.
Yeah. Well, okay. He was apparently also in Schitt's Creek. I have to go back for what role that was, but he was in Schitt's Creek too. Yes. Okay. Now, there's this interesting thing that's happening, François, since he's the only one out that people know of on the show. And I think we should talk about it. Basically, because he's out, obviously all of these people are doing publicity. So François and Connor were, I think, in America doing publicity. And of course, they're going to grab lunch. All these things, they're taking flights back to probably Canada or whatever. Now there's rumors that they're together. Of course, the heated rivalry fans who want these fictional characters to really be together are now mad that old Scott Hunter might be getting in the way of their ship. And I love François because François is older. He's a more mature actor. And when he was on Watch What Happens Live, Andy Cohen asked him, who are you dating? And he said, it's none of your business.
Wow.
And that's how you need to deal with these people.
that's how you need to deal with these people. And also, like, amazing PR stunt. Like, yeah, lean into the rumors. Are you dating Ilya? Okay, it's none of your business. You know, even if you didn't even think about it.
No.
Okay, like, what's it called? Ambiguity breeds engagement.
Yeah. It's
So
very true. It's very true. But it like also makes me sad because I feel like there's so many people who watch the show and kind of didn't get the point of the story. You know? If you're doing that to actors, like the whole point is it's still risky in 2026 to be queer. We just had a fight again for gay marriage. That shit almost went away.
yeah. Oh my god, it's like as a gay, as working with gay couples and divorce law, I'm getting opposite calls. I'm getting calls like, "Hey, should we get married now?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and divorce law is crazy.
Yeah, I bet. So it's like, it's so weird. I think some people think they're so progressive that they think we're farther than we are, and therefore they can speculate on people's queer people's sexuality and who they're dating. Like it won't have real consequences on their career. And it's like, I just feel like you guys didn't get the point of why these two characters were going back and forth for 10 years.
I mean, I think when you say like get the point of the story, like, you know, those people, everyone got their own point of the story.
Yeah.
Right. Like everyone put their own experiences onto it. Everyone else, like, they said, "Oh, this reminds me of this," and like they got their own story, right? So it just, I mean, they did get the point of the story for themselves.
That makes me so frustrated though.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's like, and this has been another conversation which even the author was pulled into it. It was like who has ownership or whatever over the story, or who is the story about? I think women who love romance, and it was a very successful book series, and that was because a lot of women readers, so they feel ownership in that way, and I think that makes sense. But then it's about queer men. And so there's some people talking about whether it's realistic or not because this cis woman, we do not know her sexuality. I swear to God, there's bots out there trying to propagandize because everyone keeps claiming that Rachel Reid is a bisexual woman married to a bisexual man. That is not true. She literally had to address it again in January to Out Magazine to be like, I am seeing people no, commenting on my sexuality and my family's, and I just want to say I have not identified myself in any way. Either way, I'm not a gay man. So take that for what you need when it comes to like whether the story is like, I don't know, for queer people or about, I don't know. But I'm just like, they keep trying to say that they're bisexual, and I'm like, why are we in it?
See, okay, two things on that. One, I do find it hilarious that she had to tell Out Magazine that she's like, I've not identified myself. That's
I'm not coming out Magazine.
It's kind of like when this man named whose Grindr name is Latino Lover always hits me up, and I had to come out as not Latino to him. I was bio was like Latino only, and I'm like, sir. After the fourth message, I was like, I have to tell you, I am not Latino. Okay.
What was the reply?
Okay. He honestly made a new account. Like I think he forgot. Like he liked the message and then like he forgot. And then 6 months later came back and I literally said, "Sir, comma, still not Latino."
That's wild. He's like, well, you're my type, so.
No. The thing is, he didn't respond to that. So I'm like, wow. Like I wanted to make sure he was like adhering to his rules. I just wanted to be open in the disclosure. Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, still not Latino. But when it comes to ownership of a story, like I always think of it like who owns the story? Well, I own the story that I am getting from this product or this art, right? Think about it like tarot card reading. Who owns that reading? The tarot card reader who puts these cards out and tells you what they are? Or do you own it when the tarot card reader tells you what these mean and you interpret it like, oh my God, it's talking about my college roommate. Oh my God, it's talking about my aunt twice removed. You know, like you own that interpretation. You own that tarot card reading, that session, because you walk away with it, what you felt about, like how you received what was given to you. That's the story. Like a gay man watching this, a bisexual man watching this, a straight woman watching this, however you felt, that's your story.
Yeah.
Like some people feeling so strongly that like Scott Hunter cannot go on like dates or go get dinners with Connor Story. Like, okay, they own that. And you know what? They can stay mad.
They can stay mad if that's helpful. I think for me, it's like it's gonna happen no matter what. So you are speaking facts. I think for me, it's like I hope as a writer myself, especially of like queer stories, that telling them would create some more empathy or understanding. And I think the romance lovers, if they're in it just for the romance, they want to treat it like any other romance. Where I think for me as like a queer person who's also like bisexual, I'm so aware that this romance is playing out the way it does because of the circumstances that they're in. Like we feel like they have been free to love each other for a while because we're constantly in the room for them. But it's like they're in private rooms, rooftops, a cottage away from everyone because they don't feel like they can be in the real world. And therefore I'm like, how are y'all missing that?
Even when Shane says I bought a lot of groceries so we don't have to go into town.
Yeah. It's so isolationist.
And even Scott Hunter, not to go back to my favorite character apparently, but even when he tried to show up to that guy's birthday party, Kip's birthday party, and he's just like standing outside, and I'm like, you know, can we like do a tiny violin for this man, please? Like, please.
Tragic, so tragic.
Like Scott Hunter, that would never happen with me. I would tell you after my birthday, you can handle the bartend.
Yeah, exactly. It's so wild. So yeah, I think the circumstances I just can't get over, and then I feel like, oh my God, so many people missed it. Now Johnny Weir was on Watch What Happens Live. Johnny Weir is on The Traitors. Love him.
Oh, the skater.
Sorry?
The ice skater?
Yes. Yes. So, and this just happened, and it like kind of infuriated me, but on Watch What Happens, a woman asked him like, ooh, you were an ice skater for years at the top of your game. Did you ever have a heated rivalry romance? And I'm just like, if he did, would we know? Because we know what the world is like. It's a secret for a reason. Right. And it was so great. Johnny was just talking about how much he loves this show and how well Connor did with his accent and da-da-da-da. And Andy Cohen at the end was like, so did you or didn't you have a heated rivalry? Johnny's response was, I'm a guy who likes a Birkin. And I typically like guys who don't have a Birkin, and they're usually in the closet.
Great way to answer.
But also, this is driving me crazy. Like, we're doing this now, asking real athletes this?
He answered it so well.
He did. He really did. But it's just like, I just want people to be there.
I feel like it's also kind of understood. I think it's kind of like touching on like, there's gay people everywhere. Like, even when Rose Landry's like, are there any gay hockey? Well, I'm sure there are gay hockey players. Are there any out gay hockey players?
Yes.
Gay people are people. So, like, that's why Andy's like, listen, you're on Watch What Happens Live. Only the girls and the gays watch it, and supportive boyfriends. Like, have them? And he said, I like Birkins. Yeah, great. Because I mean, we can assume also.
So much is being said and unsaid.
It's like way higher chances than hockey. Okay?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I'm just like, imagine if Rozanov and Hollander at their press conference, they're just sneakily playing footsies under the table, and someone asked them that. Do you want to kill Shane? Do you want to murder him? Just by watching his dad get in that car and escape, he was almost on the floor.
Yeah. See, the thing is, that's why I don't think Shane and Hollander can do what Scott Hunter did.
Mm-hmm. No.
And once again, I'm glad Scott was the first to do it in this world, because that man can give a speech. Can you imagine if it was Shane or Ilya? Shane would literally be like, I like hockey, and I guess I like guys.
Yeah.
Like, all these years, that's our GOAT? No. That's why I'm so glad Scott Hunter was the first to do it.
He probably would have tried a little bit more. But oh my God, I also want to just go back to like when Shane got hurt and he was in the hospital.
Oh, that is so important. I wrote it down.
Yes.
Because he goes, and then he's like, the coach is calling your parents. And he's like, tell him not to worry. Tell him I'll be fine. He's going to worry. He's like, what? Yeah. And the paramedic's like, they're going to let your dad know. He's like, not my dad, Ilya. And it's like, first, like, I mean, maybe it's like partially the concussion is like making him forget that like it's a secret. Mm-hmm. But also it could also be like this is an emergency situation.
Yes.
And I know how much this man cares about me, but it is the perfect example of why queer people, I mean, I've heard a lot of my guy friends talk about, me included, why we were so scared to have wisdom tooth surgery when you're growing up. Because you're scared you're going to come out in a laughing gas.
Oh.
Many people feel this because like you're like people say crazy stuff.
They do.
So like Shane being like, Ilya's gonna worry my enemy.
Mm-hmm. Right? Oh, Ilya wasn't even hiding it either. He did not care. He was like, I'm staying here. I'm looking. What the heck is happening? Like the announcers were like, and Ilya is. It's like,
no matter how much they hate each other, he's still a nice guy.
Exactly. It's like
even the nurse was like, you're not gonna smother him, are you? And I was like, what is this world?
We don't. I think because we're Americans and like aren't into hockey like at that level, like it's their football, like because in the book and you hear a little bit in the show, but you just like, I feel like if you know, like when they were going to each other's home team place, they were burning like effigies of each other.
But like imagine if this was about football. Like we're still not tapped into that world. I mean, I know.
No.
Like, I wouldn't get it being like, you don't want to kill him at the hospital bed. You know, you're a nurse. We worked for you in the pandemic and you're going to accuse him of murder?
Yes. Yeah, it's interesting. It absolutely is like the power of fandom and whatever fantasy story that they want to play out. That is like another reason why they can't come out. But
it's like hockey Reddit fans, but in life.
Yeah. Yeah. We only get a peek of it. They're not the main part of the story. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love that Shane's just like, I want you, don't go back to Russia. You can come to my cottage. Like, it's just so cute.
And Shane's getting really good at these asks, can I say? Because he's like, you know what? I'm about to ask the biggest ask of my life while I'm recovering with a health thing from your teammate. How are you going to say no? And even Ilya had to be like, maybe. Because you can't say no.
He was going to end the relationship.
You think Ilya was walking in there to end the relationship?
Yeah. It's in the book. He wants to end it because he's like, this is getting too much. Like, I obviously really, really care about you, but we can't do this. So like, where is it gonna go? So he's going there, and he has that very stoic demeanor on, because in his head he's like, I know we gotta end this. And Shane's high as hell and is just like, he probably wouldn't have asked that question if he was sober.
Yeah.
Who did chicken now?
Big ask, and like he shot, he didn't miss.
Yeah.
But it did the Scott Hunter thing, once again, my fave, did, because it kind of made Ilya go like, oh my God, like my biggest thing was my dad. And hockey. And like now the hockey thing is taken care of, and I'm actually good and not old like Scott Hunter. So if he can do it, that's covered. I don't have to answer to my brother no more, because the brother was holding that secret over him. That's the only reason like that happened.
I know.
So he's like, you know what? I'll come to the cottage.
Come into the cottage. I love that scene. I think it's like, I don't know. Again, I just feel like a lot of people are so jaded now to the coming out thing, because people are coming out a lot, which is great, but it's still not the majority. It's still a huge deal personal wise. And now we see how it's also a big deal for the community. Like, we get the cottage episode because Scott Hunter came out. Thank you.
Scott Hunter came out publicly so that these guys could enjoy privately. And that's truly what happens with like someone big comes out, you go, oh my God, more like Pete Buttigieg running for president as the first gay president, first openly gay candidate. Amazing, because now people are just talking about the possibility of a gay person being president. I mean, you know, we are going to have more, but like, it was nice, like, you know, and that makes you be able to enjoy whatever level of comfort level you are within yourself. Increase this a little bit, because hey, there's another guy.
Truly.
You know, like if today, like Zayn Malik came out, I would be a little bit more confident.
Yeah.
A little bit more confident.
Yeah. Oh my God. And like, I think there's been some emotional reactions I've seen to the show. And one of them is like, oh my God, like 14-year-old me, if this came out when I was 14, it would have changed so much. But like, the comforting thing is that there are 14-year-olds right now in the closet sneaking on their little iPad somewhere private, maybe under a cover, and is just getting their whole life to this show.
And I think what there's this like thing that I've noticed, and I think people have talked about, is there is a difference in the younger queer generation, especially in gay men. The younger, growing up, like the type of male man loving man scenario, you didn't see like relationship, love, anything like that put on media. Like there was no rom-coms or anything like that. It was either about struggle, it was a documentary, it was something, right? And so there's also like, especially with an older gay generation, when like you're told that no matter what you do is wrong, right? Hand holding and like everything else is kind of equated as the same. So like, might as well just do whatever. You kind of tap into that like pleasure center, and you're just like, if I'm going to do it, if I'm going to be bad, if I'm going to be deviant, I'll do it all, right? So now the younger generation is seeing like gay people are in relationships, gay people get married, gay people go to jobs, they like, you know, have kids. So they are not as quick to jump in the bedroom, because they understand like they can form that connection at the same time as physical, right? So I love that 14-year-olds now are getting to see a rom-com. It's a rom-com about like the past, 2008, you know, and they're like, oh, it was so different, you know? Like being able to see like a great like a great example, like two different examples of like, wow, when you like somebody, you could be a Scott Hunter and be like, you haul it as a gay man, day one, or you know, you could have it build up over to slow burn, like 10 years.
I love that difference. Yeah. Okay. When I'm usually reviewing something, I always end with a chaotic bi moment. What would we say? What's your pick for a chaotic bi moment in Heated Rivalry? I will also pick one. Oh my god. First of all, the club scene. The club scene. When
Now we got to talk about Miles.
oh god, yes we do. Yes we do. But first of all, before the tattoo song even started, I was like, no, they're not, as a queer femme. And then it just starts and I started like rocking out to it. I'm like, I'm in the club now. And then the guy version goes in and I'm like, my head's gonna fucking explode. I'm so bisexual right now. And Shane has this dude behind him kissing on his neck. How did he not freak out?
And also, Rose, like, warned the guy, like, and Miles is going in there nose first, like, you know, like,
Yeah, like he didn't give. I'm so surprised that Shane, where he's at with like coming out, he didn't like freak the hell out. But he's like trying to dance with this girl. And then there's fucking Ilya, who cannot be chill. He needs to remind everyone that he's still the baddest bitch. And like the fact that guy gave him the eyes, I love that he knew. He wasn't even entertaining that for a second. He did a slow-mo look around. He's like, freaking Shane wants to pretend he's straight on this dance floor right now. I'm getting myself a girl and making out.
Ilya said, boy, I invented you. That's what he did.
He did.
And Shane said, yes, sir. Yes, he did.
And Shane just walks over and just stares. And that
The hands down.
down. I think there was some little playfulness of what he was actually doing, but he was absolutely staring at him. And the fact that that whole episode ended with Shane having
one of two times.
exactly having to put in the rough work of being the peg instead of the hole, and Ilya just looking down the barrel, fury, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, because there's also like this like power control type thing. That's mine, and he's like vigorously like, that's not mine. And you know, that's when you see like Ilya would have just gone and hooked up with whatever random girl, but he's like, no. And I think it's very important, like in that Ilya, like I connected a little bit throughout the show when he could just not be serious for one goddamn moment. Like anytime a serious conversation came, like the way Shane like bent over into a pretzel several times to try to bring up the what are we conversation. And like the way Ilya would just like scoot out of it, make a joke, make this, make that. And it wasn't until he was in Russia and Shane said, well, maybe you can just tell me how you're feeling in Russian. I won't understand, but maybe it'll feel better. And that's when we see Ilya. He's not surrounded by anyone. He went for a walk away from everything. He's by himself. He's speaking in Russian, and he is just honest. He is raw. He is honest. Performance down, walls down. Just actually speaking his mind, knowing that it's not affecting this persona that he built of this guy who's always fine. He has to be fine because he has to all these other people depending on him. All that goes away. And you know, and like you see this in like movies where when it's like a relationship coming to like the climax and like all the emotions outpouring, you'll see heavy rain, right? Like you see that constant rain. This one was interesting because Ilya is by himself and you see snow, but it's not a blizzard. It's slowly coming because you finally see a little bit of pouring of emotion from Ilya. And you don't see the weather or anything from Shane. You literally only see his mouth and face because right then, the only important thing to Shane is Ilya okay? And I'm just going to sit here and listen. And you know Ilya likes it because Ilya doesn't even stop the whole Russian thing because when Shane goes, yeah, well, then maybe one day you can teach me Russian. Like, well, how do you say, I wish I was there? And Ilya goes, I wish I was there too, but he says it in Russian. So I'm enjoying this. I can say it. And I wow, you finally see this guy able to say it. He did feel better.
Yeah. Is that your chaotic bi moment?
No, that was actually very sweet.
Okay. Yeah. I do wanna reply to that because I loved it too. There is a little tidbit that I got to in the book where afterwards Ilya was like, oh, like Shane could have absolutely recorded what I was saying and then Google Translate, but he was like, but I trust like Shane would never do that. You know, he still has that mechanism to protect himself, but he's like, what am I talking about? Shane would never do that. And also, I loved his face when Shane was like, everything good with your dad? He's like, oh, you speak Russian now? He's like, I know the word for father.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yes, Shane, please learn Russian. Like, he's like, he was so sassy in those final episodes. When Shane asked him to stay in the car, he was like, oh, okay, let's go inside now. like, are you crazy? He was like, oh, wearing that Boston shirt isn't going to make things better. He's like, oh, so your parents don't know I'm playing for Boston. Like, what are we talking about? But it's also like reminding how big this hockey shit is to them and his parents.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would say my chaotic bi moment. Well, we talked about Miles just like literally necking. I think that's what they called necking back in the 50s.
Yeah.
But, I think aside from the Miles of it all, literally appeared, disappeared, never again. Aside from the Miles of it all, I really, really liked when Ilya goes back to Russia and he has his like hometown boy. And his hometown boy approaches him in the bathroom. That's his hometown hookup. And he's like, all right, come on, it's been a while. Mm-hmm. And Ilya's like, no. And I'm like, I got scared for Ilya in that moment because I'm like, I like to joke. I'm like, I don't think I'm ever the type for a DL guy, down low guy, because I'm DL, but it stands for dangerously loud. So I think that's what that bathroom guy was giving. So like, you gotta keep that guy happy because he got him out. And the way Ilya was just like, no, like it's different for Ilya because it's with a guy. That's territory.
Yes. And I think that was a pivotal point because again, like it was the Olympics, he lost, he's really taking it to heart. But also, like I think that's the point where they go from like boys to men. The episodes after that, and like that man, he calls Ilya boring. You remember that?
Yes. And like that's weird because Ilya's not boring. It's Hollander. But now Hollander is making him boring. You're starting to sound like him. That was basically that moment. You're starting to sound like him.
Yeah. And he's just like leaving that party lifestyle behind. He's like, I have a job to do. I'm going to do it right. And yeah, that means I'm not going to do cocaine with you upstairs in the bathroom during this party where we can get caught. The danger, there's so many opportunities where there could have been danger. And something that I noticed also was the consent. There was so much good representation of consent because he could have kept trying, but that boy was like, okay, you're boring, going off to do something else. When Shane is bought for the first time, Ilya is so careful and gentle with him. And this isn't when they're like in love or anything. I think it's just like the right thing to do, that he's just like, how are you feeling? Checking in. How are we doing? It's like and it's still a hot show. Like a lot of people say that things about consent will make things less sexy. This is the hottest show we've had in a very long time, and consent's all over it.
It shows that it's hot because like that question is coming from, I care about this person I'm with and I want them to have a good time because then I'll have a good time. And that's it's not like, oh, I'm asking consent because, oh, in the Me Too era, you know, like when people like try to front something like that, and you're like, what were you doing before the era? You know, weirdo. But also when Ilya says is like, I'm not gonna do cooking. Like, you know, I think it's also part of growing up because Ilya's probably like, wait, you want me to do cooking? You want me to stay home to hook up with you, girl? I am a grown man now, okay?
Put it together.
Teenager, crazy boy. So I think they are growing up.
Yeah.
Still growing up.
Yes. So I love that. And guess what? They're not vanilla, even though like the consent is still there. Like that episode where he's just a total dom. He won his MVP award instead of Shane, and he's just like, and you're gonna perform for me. You don't get tequila because you're not a freaking winner. Like,
I know, and Shane is eating it up.
Eating it
up.
And also Shane has so much control over Ilya. Like that's the hot part in the book of like when you get Ilya's perspective when Shane's being a sub, like he could barely control himself around Shane.
Oh, yeah.
And it's amazing.
And it's nice to see the Kip and Shane, like how different they are but they still both have power. Like there is a power balance, so there's that that they get that escapism of relinquishing that power. But I do get to see that they both have power in their own ways.
Yeah. Is there anything else we want to say about this show?
I mean, I think we covered everything about the show. I mean, down to the gay guys not wanting to get their wisdom teeth removed because of laughing gas. I'm telling you, stop a gay person on the street and be like, did you get your wisdom teeth removed? And were you out at the time? Like, I think that's it on this show. I do want to just say I'm watching Traitors, and I love Eric, singer-songwriter. I met him on the show, and he is just so good and so wrong, and that's amazing for the Traitor show.
Yes. I hope that after being wrong, he just sinks right back down, be the middle of the road, and we can keep on coasting. Love that you're watching. I don't think the date for the reunion has come out yet, but maybe if you want, you can come back to talk about the reunion with us.
Yes, and let's write down the first thing I want to address is everyone's coming up with these rumors like, oh, we think Rob is gonna turn on Candace. That's why Candace is following everyone on the Traitors, but not Rob. Listen, these people are Peacock celebrities. You think they would follow each other for the thing? Like, you know? Like, well, people didn't know Ramon and I were broken up until way after the show aired. So we had that training. I'm sure Candace Dillard Bassett and Rob from Love Island have media training on social media. Yeah. So people are like, I figured it out. Let's see who's eating crow.
Yes. I'm not even trying to make any predictions. We'll just see how long Lisa Rinna can last, because Lisa Rinna is the weakest link.
I think Candace is the weakest link, but she's going to push Lisa Rinna first. I think Candace
should.
Weak link. Portia ended up going home.
Yeah.
Well, Candace was the one who fumbled.
I know. It was sad. Shit, that was an accident. But oh my God. All right. I really enjoyed talking to you, Ashmal. Where can people follow you in between?
Easy at Ashmal Ali. And yeah, on Instagram, that's where I do most of my things. I do my comedy, I do my reels, and every now and then Ramon and I beef on social media. So yeah, they can find me there. And thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. This was such a great way to relax from work. And love the show. And love it.
Love it, guys. Thank you for watching and or listening, and follow Black by Reality across all socials. I hope you feel visible and stay visible today. Bye.
Let's take a quick pic.
Okay.
So I do this. You put your hand in a little finger heart.
In a finger heart?
Yeah, like girl.
Oh, okay. I
3, 2, 1. Yay! Thank you.
Yay. Thank you. Bye.